Welcome. We're going to talk about photo captions in this video. And this is something that some schools actively use, and frankly, some schools do absolutely nothing with. I'd like to see if we can kind of meet in the middle there a little bit, because I think photo captions are really important. It's a great way to get more writing in your book, and it links writing with the pictures, which I think for a yearbook is the best kind of writing, okay? And it's not hard to do. So let's go over some basics. First off, again, pictures, number one element of the yearbook. Everybody puts a ton of pictures down, no surprise there. The problem is, again, this thought that a lot of folks just sort of forget is we're not just making a yearbook for the day you hand them out. All right, yeah, that's a big day. We're actually making the yearbook for 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years down the road when people have forgotten so much about your school and the school year and their classmates and all that sort of stuff. And they have that yearbook and they open it up and it's just an instant memory jog right there. And part of that is simply identifying people and things with writing, not just with pictures. So, in other words, if all you do is put a lot of pictures down, okay, this year, sure, you know everybody in those pictures. That makes sense. 5, 10 years from now, you'll probably know all the people. But trust me, especially if students are watching this, as you go further down the line of life, if you will, you just start to forget things. I mean, maybe you end up moving away to the other side of the country. Maybe you end up moving to another country. And of course, you see nobody from your hometown anymore, no classmates. And over time, when you're not thinking about them, that information just goes right out of your head and you totally forget. The yearbook helps us to remember, but writing along with the pictures is the real way to get people to remember all kinds of things about their school days. Just putting pictures down, people are going to forget, oh, yeah, that kid's what's his name? It happens to everybody. So we need to do some simple photo caption writing to help people do a better job of remembering. Now, let's go over some basic notes. All right, a lot of top yearbooks, when they do caption writing and they have somebody's name in a caption, they often follow it with that person's grade level. So it would be John Smith and in parentheses 12, which means that kid's a senior. Okay, that's really cool. Do you need to do the 12? Not really. All right. Yeah, if you want to identify this person's a senior, junior, sophomore, freshman, eighth grader, seventh grader, whatever, for an elementary book, maybe you put third in there. It's like third grade. Okay, that's great. Is it crucial? No. The name is crucial. And first name, last name, not just first name, not just Joe or Jane. No, we need their last name. That is as important as the first name. So total names, okay? We call those ident captions for identification. Maybe you do these already. In other words, you have a group photo and underneath it's like first row, here's the people, second row, here's the people. That is an ident caption. We're just identifying the people that are in this photo. Probably the simplest kind of photo caption there is. Just who's in here, one name, two, three names, and so on. Can you put names over an image? I get that question sometimes in the past, and the answer is sure. Depending on your page design, usually names are like either underneath or to the side of a picture and so on. If it's, I don't know, kind of tight with your page design, can you put like a text box across the bottom maybe of the picture if it works there and you can easily read the writing over the photo? Sure, you can do that. That's not a big deal. Just make sure that we can read it. That's the important thing. Group captions, again, clubs, team photos, class photos, and so on. Those are great, all right, if you can get those. And if you get them, I mean, I'm thinking about the marching band, like a high school marching band, probably a lot of people. You're looking at this photo, probably the heads are not all that big because there'll be a decent number of people in the photo. Yeah, we should put some kind of caption box with that to identify here's the people in the first row, here's the people in the second row. And then the idea is one, two, three, four. Oh, that's Joe. Okay, there you go. Important stuff. If you just put a picture of the marching band down with no names, it won't take very long before people are like, I have no idea who's in this photo. Maybe I can recognize my one buddy. He's right there. But everybody else, boop, forgot. We want to put group caption photos there to identify here's who was in the marching band this year. Got to put their names down. Now let's go a little further. All right, let's go to a more of a descriptive caption. And you can tell a caption with essentially, you can do it with one sentence. Now, the one sentence needs to be who's in this photo and what's going on here. Do not assume the reader knows who's in the photo or the reader knows what's going on in the picture. They don't. And again, years from now, they definitely won't. So the simplest basic caption is literally one sentence. Who's in this picture? What are they doing in this photo? All right, remember the old stuff from English class, who, what, where, when, why, how. Well, this is more like who, what, where, when. How many of those questions can we answer in one sentence, preferably not too long, tied to a photo? All right, that's the most basic photo caption there is, called a basic caption or a summary caption. Now, if you can, if you've got the space, go a little further, add a second sentence. We call this an expanded caption. In the second sentence, we want to know more about the person, more about the team or the group or the event or the sports game and so on. So if it's a picture of John Smith and he's a football player and he ran for 1,000 yards this year, if you could add a second sentence next to some picture of John, you're like, John did this. All right, that reminds us, oh yeah, John had a really good season that year. He ran for 1,000 yards. So an expanded caption adds a second sentence with a few more details about the person, the event, the group, and so on. If you can do that, that really adds more to the total storytelling on the page. And trust me, that person in the photo will be appreciating, hey, they remembered I ran for 1,000 yards that year, or I did something else. Great. Expanded caption, 2, maybe even 3 sentences, depending again on how much space you have. And here's something that not that many people do, and that is put a quote in the caption. Now, that could be a third sentence. And all you got to do is just go talk to the person, ask them a couple of questions, record their answer, kind of write down, and then maybe that third line, put in a quote from the person talking about whatever that picture has to deal with. Doesn't have to be some big long quote, could be something really small, but the idea here is that okay, this is the words of the person in this photo. And so it's quote, whatever the words are, he said, or John said, or something like that. You add that, it really adds even more color to a photo caption. And now, if you do that with a lot of photos in your book, the idea here is we are telling stories through pictures and the captions that are attached to them. Really, really good stuff. And it's really not that hard to do. It's not that hard. Once you get started, it becomes commonplace like, okay, boom, boom, doing it here, boom, boom, boom. Do it. It's really good stuff. All right, now let's do a student activity. Now, depending on when you're watching this, all right, maybe you have a page you're working on right now, a spread, or maybe it's kind of already done. Take a look at that page or spread again. See where you can add captions in that page or spread. Now, it could be just a basic caption, one sentence. Could be an expanded caption, 2 or more sentences. I'll bet you'll find some pictures like, yeah, we could add one right there. Yeah, we could do something over here. Yeah, maybe what about down there? Now, hopefully you want to do that as part of your original page planning anyway. But with this student activity, take a look at some stuff that maybe you've already done. It's sort of finished or half finished. And the idea is, where can we add some photo captions here to add to the color and storytelling on this particular page or spread? All right, see what you can do with that. Guys, identification is so important. Again, decades from now, you will forget. Your readers will forget. And then we're shortchanging them. They're going to be sitting there like, who's this? I forget who that is. Well, what's going on in this photo? We've shortchanged that reader. If we can add just a little bit of writing through photo captions, now it helps them remember forever. And it just completely completes the book as a good storytelling element. Do your best to identify everybody. All right, ready? Thanks for watching.